Hello friend, welcome you back on my 30 days revision class of CIB. So now we are going to start module D of ABM and we are going to start with the first chapter of module D but 26th chapter of your book ABM. So the first chapter of module D is overview of credit management. This will include your priority sector as well as MSME. So starting with you have to see what is the definition of credit management. So you know the basic business of the banking sector is to give credit or extend credit to needy person, sometimes for the personal requirement, sometimes for the corporate sector, for the overall development of the economy of the country. So we every time we need to require credit is to be managed. So what is the credit management? Credit management is nothing but starting from the giving loan and up to the recovery is called the credit management. That includes the risk management also. So credit managements are influenced to a great extent by some unwritten principle are there. Some of them are mentioned here, like likewise you can see safety of fund and the purpose of fund, liquidity, profitability, security, and risk spread. So before a credit is extended to somebody, we have to see what is the risk factor. है ना? Even though risk factor is placed at the last, but we have to see what is the risk factor is there. Number one case, the safety of the fund. Purpose, we have to see what the purpose. And liquidity means there should not be any liquidity mismatch, and it has to be profitability because the overall purpose of the bank is to earn the profit. And next is the security of the fund. Now when we extend the credit, that means we give credit to the borrowers and we lend money to the borrowers. So there are some types of borrower we are dealing every day. So one of them is the individual, sole proprietor, partnership firm, joint ventures, Hindu undivided family, that is also called in short HUF, companies, statutory corporations, and trust and corporative societies. So these are the seven types of borrowers are here. Banking sector is dealing every day these type of borrowers, and depending upon the borrowers, the law dealing with the borrowers is different. That means each type of borrower they are having their different type of law dealing with them. So here is the list. You can say number one is the individual. So when you deal with the individual, you will be dealing with, that means they will be coming under the Indian Contract Act, because when you extend credit facility to somebody, you always make one contract. Okay, so there is always contract between bank and borrower. So when the individual is there, you have to deal with the Indian Contract Act. When partnership form is there, you have to deal with that. That comes under Indian Partnership Act. When HUF is there, so customary law prevailing to the Hindus is there. And when companies is there, Companies Act is there, and statutory corporation there act that created them. That means there are the different corporations are there under which law they have been created. We deal with them, and trusts are there. So Indian Trust Act is there, public trust is there, religious, charitable, endowment trust is there. So many trust they'll come under their own law. And cooperative societies act is there, and society registration act is there. Now coming to the next, we have to see what types of credit is there. So credit is divided basically two types. You can see here. Number one is the fund based, and second is the non-fund based. So in fund based, you can say the actual transfer of money takes place, where the actual transfer, we are dealing every day this type of activity. So in fund based, actual transfer of money takes place. That means money is transferred to the borrower's account. Whereas the non-fund based, there is no transfer of money is there, but commitment of bank is there on behalf of the client. है ना? That means this non-fund based, this contingent is also called contingent liability. That liability may happen in the future where bank will be liable to transfer money in the future. Okay, and this fund base can be divided into two parts: short-term credit or long-term credit. Okay, but example of non-fund based are there: bank guarantee is there, letter of credit is there, co-acceptance of bill is there, forward contract is there, and derivative was there. Where is the short-term credit is there? We deal every day. And this type of credit, like many loans we pass every day, these are called short term and long term. Okay, that means short term is for the short duration, means maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. For long terms are very long duration, like 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, like this. So they become the long term credits. Now components of credit management, because overall credit of the banking sector is influenced by some of the components are here that we have to keep in mind. We keep on changing our policy depending upon these components. Number one is the credit management, that means is highly influenced by the market condition, and market condition may be domestic as well as international. So domestic as well as international is influenced by it. That means our rate of interest is also influenced by these market condition. Policies of the other bank, that means we have to adopt policy as per the other policy of the bank, because if some bank is going loan in the lower interest, so no people will come to our bank to take a loan. So we have to revise our policy, and if some banking sector other bank is providing a good facility to customer, then we have to adopt to same that condition. Okay, and our own SWOT, SWOT analysis. SWOT stand for strength, S stand for so S means strength, W means weakness, O means opportunity, and T stand for threat. So we have to analyze our SWOT analysis also. And in between, RBI guidance or time to time RBI keep on releasing some guidance, and banks are to follow. Bank has to follow the that guidelines issued by the RBI. Next coming exposure limit, single borrower and group borrower. है. That means we keep on having our exposure limit. That means we cannot give to single borrower like 10%, 15% of the total capital. So these guidance are also issued by the RBI. And exposure limit to the sector. That means we cannot give our whole money to one sector only. Like agriculture, if I give 100% our credit to the industrial sector, so our agriculture sector will be totally neglected. So this limit has been set by the RBI that banks should not give exposure, whole exposure to one sector. That means our exposure will be limited to one sector, so that there is overall development of the economy in the whole country. And next comes the discretionary power. Discretionary power in the banking sector is given to the different officers having different designation. Like example, manager will have some certain discretionary power, like he can give loan up to 5 lakh rupees. CM, chief manager, will having something other power. DM will have something other power. AGM will have something other power. So these powers are given based on their rank in the banking sector, so that there is overall control and management is there. So moving ahead, before credit is extended to somebody, we require to go for the credit appraisal. So credit appraisal means when the lender agrees to give money to the borrower, as per his proposal, few questions always arise in in the mind of the lender. That means, who is the borrower? Is the borrower is trustworthy? What is going to who do his money? What is the financial condition of the money? If he's taking for the business, then for what he's going to do? What is the end use of the money? What is the collateral security? What is the terms of conditions, like this? Some many questions are so that there is having 36-degree view of the 36 degree of the condition of the borrower. So here are the first few limits: character, capacity, capital, condition, collateral. है Then next come credit delivery. What is the documentation papers are required? Creation of charges, mortgage. Some money are there. Control and monitor after the loan is given. What is control and how to monitor this? Rehabilitation and recovery. If some he's taking some industrial purpose or some industry, what is the failure of this? Then what is recovery process will be there? How to rehabilitate once again, by extending additional loan facility, and the risk management identification. Where the what is the risk involved in that? Then measurement and evaluation. Last point is there. So these are the credit appraisal points are here. Now, moving ahead, we have arrived at the priority sector. This is very important topic for the examination point of view of CIB as well as GIB. And our priority sector has 8 segment. That means it has been divided into 8 segment. Segments are like this. You can remember the agriculture is there, MSME is there, export credit is there, housing is there, education is there, social infrastructure is there, renewable energy is there, and others. Okay, so in priority sector, this MSME is all 8. How you will remember this? You can remember any type. You can stand for A, M, E, H, E, है ना? S, R, O, है ना? That means A, M, E, H, E, S, R, O. Okay, in this way you can remember. MSME stand for micro, small, and medium enterprises, agriculture. So there is some percentage has been decided that has to be extended to priority sector by all banks. That percentage is 40%. है ना? 40% of ANBC. Okay, so I'll repeat once again priority sector so that you can remember this. So number 1 is the agriculture, number 2 is the MSME, number 3 the export credit, number 4 is housing, 5th is education, and 6th is social infrastructure, and 7th is renewable energy, and 8th others. Others means leftover. What is leftover? It becomes under others. So now we'll see one by one. What is the percentage? So total priority sector percentage is 40% of ANBC. ANBC stand for adjusted net bank credit, or CEOBE. CEOB means credit equivalent of off balance sheet exposure. Okay, credit equivalent of off balance sheet exposure. These term have also non fund based liabilities. So A and BC is the total direct credit given, that means, but is adjusted net bank credit and credit equivalent of balances. So which were higher? This term is very important. So out of this, which were higher, we have to take 40% of that. That means every bank in India has to extend 40% credit to priority sector. So we have seen that 40% has to be extended to priority sector, and out of there are subsections also because due to policy of the RBI, 18%, you can see here 18%, this 18% of ANBC or CEOB is to be given to total agriculture. 18% means whatever 40% has been given, out of this 40% what is given is there, out of that 18% is to be given to total agriculture. And next come micro enterprises is 7.5%, micro enterprises is 7.5%, and 12% to weaker section, and then and 10% is to be the small and marginal farmer. You can see here 10% here. Okay, so we'll explain this one by one because this question can be asked out of this. So just so we have seen here that means out of 40%, 18% is to be given to agriculture. But within this 18%, we have to give. But this 10% is not direct. Is not direct. That means this percent is only for the year 23 and 24. So that means starting with the year 2020-21, it was 8%, and for this financial year, that means 2021-22, it is 9 years. That means 1% has been increased. And next 22-23, it will be 9.5%, and the year 2023-24, it will be 10%. So how to remember this? You can remember from this year. You can remember from this year also. You can remember for the 2021 also. 2021 target for the small and marginal farmer. Keep in mind, small and marginal farmers. Okay, in the agriculture sector, means within priority it was 40, and the priority agriculture 18%, and out of this agriculture, small and marginal farmers, the percentage given to the is 8%, 2021. Now after that increase to 1%, then 0.5%, then 0.5%. So for this year, you can remember this 9%. So 1%, 0.5, 0.5. This way you can remember this value. Okay. There is no change in micro enterprises. Micro enterprises, they are having 7.5 only. But for the weaker section, same once again, starting with a 10. Starting with a 10. Marginal farm, small and marginal farmer, they start with the 8. But weaker section, they are starting with 2021. Okay, 2021 it was 10% only. You can see here 10%. Then again increase by 1%, so it become 11% this year. And 22-23 it will be 11.5, and 2023-24 will be 12%. So same procedure whatever we have done for the increase in small and marginal farmers, same has been done in case of weaker section. Okay, so because here every year increase is there, so this question can be asked for this year. They sometimes they may not ask for the 2021, they may ask for 2020, 22, 23 also. So you can remember the data. Okay, so I'll repeat once again here. That means for the small and marginal farmer, 2021 was 8%, 21-22 increase by 1%, become 9%, 22-23 again 0.5% increase, 9.5, and 23-24 it's become 10. Okay, and weaker section are starting with the 10%. Okay, 2021 10%, 21-22 11%, 22-23 increase by 0.5 11.5%, and 23-24 12%. So these are the exposure to the, that means percentage of your NBC or COB given to the weaker section, small marginal farmer within the priority sector. Okay, within the priority sector. And what is the percentage for the agriculture? So you can see the exposure to the agriculture is only 18%. So out of 18%, it is given to the small and marginal farmer. Okay, then the rest you can give to other farmers also. Okay, so out of 18%, if you are giving 10%, so left over will be 8% in the year 23-24%. Okay. Now we'll see what is to be included in the agriculture. The list is very big, so I've taken only the important points here. So you can see here, agriculture sector must have the following. Number one, farm credit, which will include short-term crop loans and medium long-term crop loan credit to farmers. Short-term is 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 1 year, then and long-term also. Some short-term is for 1 year, short-term is 2 years and more. Okay, loan to the individual farmer, that including self-help groups, joint liability groups. There is also short called SHG, we call JLG also, है ना, और ग्रुप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल फार्मर्स प्रोवाइडेड बैंक मेंटेन, है ना, डेटा ऑफ सच लोन्स, proprietorship firm also there, है ना, directly engaged in agriculture, allied activities also, है ना, like dairy, fisheries, animal husbandry, poultry, beekeeping and sericulture. So we extend the credit facility to these type of borrowers which comes on the agriculture. Next come, we give loan to corporate farmers also, है ना, big farmers ना, farmers producing companies of individual farmer, है ना, big companies also they are involved in agriculture also. So they are involved in agriculture, है ना, like allied activities also they are involved, like the dairy, fisheries, animal husbandry, poultry, beekeeping, sericulture, but aggregate limit is 2 crore per borrower. This you have to remember the figure here, है ना. In case of corporate farmers the limit is 2 crore. And same thing, loan up to 50 lakh against the pledge hypothecation of agriculture produce, including warehouse receipt for a period not exceeding 12 months. So when farmers are ready to sell in the market, before that, they have to store their produce in the warehouse. So we have to give them loan up to 50 lakh against the pledge and hypothecation of the produce. So this is before they sell in the market, we can extend 50 lakh against the pledge and hypothecation of this value. Okay, so this was about the agriculture sector. Now within the agriculture, because we have given the special percentage to the small and marginal farmers, starting with the 8%, gone up to 10%. So now we'll see what are the small and marginal farmers here. So small farmers whose land holding is up to 1 hectare, 1 hectare are considered as a marginal farmers. Okay, means up to 1 hectare marginal farmers, and above 1 hectare but up to 2 hectares they are considered as small farmers. So marginal, small. Okay, normally we say small and marginal. So small means 1 to 2 and marginal means less than 1 hectare. Okay, and there are some farmers also who are landless, or they are having some tenant farming, some on agreement there is also called over lessees, that means they have some agreement, the agreement is not written, that's called over lessees. Okay, so landless agriculture laborers or farmers and sharecropper, 2 or 3 persons they share their cropping, they also come under the small and marginal farmers. Okay, whose share of land holding is come within this limit, then they also consider the small and marginal farmers. There is also a new addition here also, loan up to 2 lakh rupees to the individuals solely engaged in allied activity. Allied activity means many activities are there where the farmers carried out other than direct agriculture. So 2 lakh rupees can be extended to farmers, under the small and marginal farmer is sub-target. That means many allied activity they carry out now. Sometimes in between they do some activities, like they can do small business based on agriculture. They can store some seeds. They can carry like for that purpose. 2 lakh rupees can be extended to farmers under the small and marginal farmer categories. Now we have reached up to MSME sector. So MSME is actually defined in MSME Development Act that came in 2006, and but as per new guidelines of RBI, this category of MSME has been changed. Previously, that service sector and direct producing means manufacturing sector, service sector, manufacturing sector was separate, but as per the latest guidelines issued by RBI, this has been merged together. So now the MSME sector has been redefined as per latest guidelines, and this criteria is given as. That means micro enterprises investment in plant and machinery or equipment, okay, does not exceed 1 crore and turnover does not exceed 5 times of this. You can multiply 5 here. Similarly, for the small enterprises, 10 crore multiplied by 5. 10 crore investment in plant and machinery or equipment and 5 times of this in turnover. So turnover will be 50 crore. And for the medium enterprises, the investment in plant and machinery should not exceed 50 crore and turnover should not exceed 5 times of this, means 250 crore. So how to remember this? You can remember the investment in plant and machinery should not exceed how? MSM, MSME. So M micro 1 crore, micro 1, 10, 50. Like this you can remember. And turnover you can multiply 5 times of this. Understood? So this is as per the latest guidelines issued by the RBI. Okay. And loans to micro and small. Keep in mind, I'm not taking here the medium. Loans to micro and small enterprises, both manufacturing and service, are eligible to be classified under priority sector. Here, medium enterprise is not included in the priority sector. But for the definition point of view, we have given here, that we have told here, medium enterprises, that means whose investment in plant and machinery is exceeding 50 crore rupees. Oh, sorry, not exceeding 50 crore. Not exceed means it is 10 to 15 crore. More than 10, but less than 50. Okay, it's called medium enterprises. Then we are not offering loan under the priority sector to medium. Here we are taking only the micro and small enterprises. But here is one more point very important, as you can remember here. If an enterprise crosses the ceiling limit specified for its present category in either of two criteria of investment or turnover, it will cease to exist in that category and will be placed in the next higher category. That means, I just take one example here. I'll just show you how it will happen. But no enterprise shall be placed in the lower category unless it goes below the ceiling limit specified for its present category in both the criteria, investment as well as turnover. Means, I just explain here how it will happen. So let's say, okay, I'll just take example of micro enterprise. Let us suppose in one financial year, this micro enterprise, let's say one micro enterprise is A, and it crosses the investment 1.5 crore. Okay, so as well as on 31st March, it crosses the 1.5 crore, so it will be placed to the next category. That means it will become small enterprises. Okay, small enterprises. And suppose the same A enterprise, suppose it is crossing the turnover, same turnover, it is crossing 5 crore. Let's say it has become 5, 6 crore. Means it is having now 1.5 investment and 6 crore as a turnover. So it has become small enterprises. But in 1 year, what happened due to some reason or other, it turnover becomes 4 crore. Okay, due to some reason, 4 crore. So it will not be placed in the lower category until unless it is satisfying the both the conditions of the lower category. That means for coming back to the lower category, it must have this condition, means less than 1 crore and less than 5 crore, means investment 1 crore and turnover 5 crore. So even one condition is satisfied, it will go to the higher enterprise, but while coming back, it must satisfy both the conditions. Then only it will be placed in the lower category. So this is very important point. So what is the percentage of micro and small enterprises? It is 7.5%. of the ANBC. है ना? You have seen the previous list also. It is 7.5% of the ANBC are COBE. Now there is one more revised guidance has been issued by the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance. That means Government of India. है ना? Department of Financial Services and Ministry of Finance. Dated 2018. Date is not important. Overdraft limit, है ना? Under PMJDY, प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना. प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना. Many accounts have been opened with this and under this category. Account holder, that means this limit has been revised. है ना? This limit has been revised 5,000 to 10,000. Okay, overdraft limit under PMJDY has been revised from 5,000 to 10,000. That means increase, है ना, to 10,000 from 5 to 10,000. Okay, and similarly they have revised the age limit also, 18 to 62 to 18 to 65. Okay, so whatever overdraft facility is given, that will come under the this MSME, है ना, small and marginal. Sorry, not small marginal but micro enterprises. Okay, similarly, and if overdraft is up to 2,000, there will not be any condition. That means account holder is free to take 2,000 rupees as if or she wishes. You can take this 2,000 rupees, but 10th total limit is 10,000 rupees, and that will be counted up to that will come counted in the category of micro enterprises. Okay, and moving ahead, one more new guidelines is there regarding startups. You might have seen the startup now, new startups are coming in the so that means they startup loan up to 50 crore. Okay, 50 crore is also coming under the priority sector. Okay, and they will come under the definition of the MSME. Similarly, one more important point is there, khadi and village industry, irrespective of the size of operation. Here is the no ceiling is there. So they will also come under the condition of 75% of MSME. 7.5, sorry, not 75, 77.5% of the MSME. So now next, now we have seen the agriculture. After agriculture, we have seen MSME. Now we have to export credit. Our third components. Okay, export credit extended as per detailed below would be classified in the priority sector. Okay, but here the export credit given to agriculture and MSME will be counted in their respective category. That means agriculture given under the agriculture we counted in agriculture only, and MSME we counted as a MSME only. Other than agriculture and MSME, they will be counted as the export credit, other than agriculture and MSME. So incremental export credit over the corresponding date of preceding year, so that means previous year, up to 2% of ANBC can be given, whichever is higher. Whichever higher means same we are taking 2% of ANBC and CEOBE. But what is the percentage? Percentage is 2%. Okay, percent is 2%. But subject to limit, what is the limit is there? Limit is 40 crore per borrower. Here is 40 crore borrower. Okay, this is the limit. We can give 2%. Incremental, you keep in mind, an incremental export credit over the corresponding date of preceding year means previous year. Okay, so we have to count the same date but go to the preceding year. Okay, corresponding date of preceding year, and up to 2% we can give. But what is the ceiling? Ceiling is 40 crore. This you have to remember, that 2%, and but ceiling is 40 crore. And next segment is our coming as a housing. Is very important. You can remember this data is very important. So this housing is divided into two parts. Number is metropolitan cities and number is other centers. Okay, so purchase or construction of new dwelling unit. per family. Here we counting the per family, and loan amount up to 35 lakh only. Loan amount up to 35 only in metropolitan and 25 lakh in other centers. But overall project cost should not exceed 45 lakh in metropolitan and other cities 30 lakh. So this is very, very important. How will you remember this? I remember just like this. No, I just tell you the technique. 45, 35. Okay, 45, 35. You remember like this. 45, 35, then 30, 25. So you can remember like this. 45 project cost, loan given 35 in metropolitan. Then other center 35 project cost, 25 loan cost. Okay, this we can remember. Understood? But it is not only the purchase or construction of new dwelling units the loan is given. Loan is also given for the repair or renovation. Hana? You can renovate your house if house has become old, or you can extend also. You can construct one room, two rooms, three room hall, and a kitchen, whatever you require. But this limit is only 10 lakh. Loan limit I'm telling here, 10 lakh in metropolitan and 6 lakh in the other centers. Understood? But one more thing is that loan given to its own employee of the bank are not counted in the priority sector category. That's given a housing loan given to bank's own employee will not be eligible classification under the priority sector. Okay, and one more thing, housing loan which are backed by long-term bonds are exempted from ENBC. Banks should not classify such loan under priority sector. Okay, that means long-term bond. Sometimes no government extend the bond is not, so this should not be counted as under the priority sector. Okay, so next we are heading. I repeat for the once again figure here. Housing loan, very, very important figure. 45, 35. Project cost 45, loan amount 35, metropolitan. And other center, project cost 35, loan amount 25 in other centers. Then repair 10 lakh and 10 lakh and 6 lakhs in metropolitan and other center. Then education, very, very important sector, education. Okay, education up to 20 lakh only, irrespective of sanctioned amount. Just keep in mind. Okay, here this means you can sanction loan up to 40 lakh, 60 lakh, whatever is there, requirement of the person is there, 25 lakh. Education you can, but out of that, only 20 lakh will be counted in the priority sector. Okay, and earlier ceiling was no abroad and domestic education is that been removed. The person can avail loan whether he is studying in India or going abroad. Now same limit is for everybody. Okay, earlier some different rates were there, now they have been removed. Understood? So now it is very, very clear. That means in education loan can be given of any value, but out of that up to 20 lakh will be counted in the priority sector. But this is not case for the housing loan. Okay, housing loan is fixed. It's not that you give loan of that means project cost is 60 lakh and you are giving loan as a 50 lakh, but you are counting at 35 as a priority sector. Okay, so here is fixed 45, 35, 30, 25. This amount is fixed. Project cost is exceeding 45, so you cannot give the loan under the priority sector. Okay, but education, it is not, limit is not there. You can give the loan, and but 20 lakh will be counted under the priority sector. Now social infrastructure. Next, our segment, bank loan up to limit of 5 crore per borrower. Keep in mind 5 crore per borrower for building social infrastructure for activities, namely school. Social infrastructure includes school, healthcare facility, healthcare facility means hospitals, drinking water facility, construction refurbishment of household toilets, water improvement, in tier 1 and tier 2 tier 2 to tier 4 centers, population less than 1 lakh. Okay, so that means up to 5 crore we can give to the social infrastructure per borrower. Okay, but there is also new addition. I'll just show you the what is the new addition. New addition is here. Okay, loan limit up to 10 crore per borrower for building under Ayushman Bharat. Under Ayushman Bharat, it can be given 10 crore. So earlier limit was 5 crore, it had been extended to 10 crore, double of this. That. Okay. Now, next segment is our renewable energy. Uh, so renewable energy is also having 10 lakh per borrower. Renewable energy means no solar power. What includes solar power based generator, biomass based power generator, windmill is there, micro hydro plants is there, non-conventional energy based public utilities, street lighting is there, remote village electrification is there, you want to do are eligible under the priority sector. Okay, so what is the limit here? 10 lakh per borrower. This figure sometimes they ask in examination what is the, but there is also one addition. So up to for see, I just compare this. This first figure is for the individual household. Keep in mind, this 10 lakh is for the individual household. That means you want to install one solar power in your house. Okay, solar geyser you want to install in your house. Then you can take 10 lakh. But for the village you want to take major plant you want to take purpose solar biomass generators you want to install. Okay, then your limit will be 30 crore to borrower for the purpose. That means you are going for the broader range of that. You want to install the plant, not your house. Plant. The plant will be used for the village, public toilet, village electrification. Okay, solar power generator you want to install. So because there will be bigger project. For bigger project, you can take 30 crore, but for the individual household, you can take only 10 crore under the renewable energy sector. Sorry, 10 lakh. 30 crore and 10 lakh. Understood? Whereas for the social, how much was the 5 crore? Okay. Social infrastructure was the 5 crore. And Ayushman Bharat 10 crore. Here the renewable energy 10 lakh and 30 crore. Okay. Now moving ahead. Now next others, our last segment of this priority sector. Okay. Others having very broad. You will see one by one. Loans not exceeding 1 lakh per borrower will be provided directly to individuals and SHG GLG. Okay, whose annual income does not exceed 1 lakh rupees in rural areas and 1,60,000 rupees in non-rural areas. Okay, so direct loan can be given to the individual borrower or SHG or GLG whose income is not exceeding 1 lakh in rural areas and 1.6 lakh in other areas. Okay, 1.6 lakh means 1,60,000. So this 1 lakh rupees direct. Okay, now loans to direct loan to distressed person. Distressed person. Person having difficulty, he has taken loan from Sahukar, Mahajan. So now distressed person loan can be given up to 1 lakh rupees. Okay, so this figure also given here. So loan up to 1 lakh rupees can be given to distressed person. Now we'll see the how weaker section has been recommended. This figure 10% came, no 10%. We took 10%, then 11%, then 11.5%, then where I find it 10%. So this weaker section has been recommended as per the Krishna Swamy committee. So weaker section are given 10% of the ENBC. 10% of NBC or 25% of the priority sector, because priority sector is 40%. So if you take 25%, you will get 10% only. So overall is 10% of the NBC. And this other category also include your village artisan, है ना? Village artisan, cottage industry where individual credit do not exceed 1 lakh rupees. Beneficiaries under government sponsored schemes such as National Rural Livelihood Mission NRLM, है ना? And National Urban Livelihood Mission NULM, and Self Employment Scheme for Rehabilitation of Manual Scavengers. है ना? Manual scavenger means no some the people involved in the manual work of carrying of, है ना, some cleaning and all, है ना? So manual scavenger means they are also included in the others category, SRMS. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribe also comes under other category. Beneficiaries of differential rate of interest scheme, DRI scheme, the interest rate is 4% only, है ना? Self help group, है ना, SHG we called, है ना? So they also come under other category. Disbursed foreman which are indebted to non-institutional lender means they have taken loan from the Sahukar Mahajan, है ना? So they also come in the other category. Distressed person other than farmers also they can take loan, है ना, but not exceeding 1 lakh rupees, है ना, where the farmer can take 2 lakh rupees. Okay, distressed farmer can take 2 lakh rupees, where the other than farmer can take 1 lakh rupees to pay their debt to the Mahajan Sahukar. Okay, woman beneficiary, है ना, woman beneficiary can take loan up to this 1 lakh rupees, and person with disabilities, they also come under the others category. So these were our 8 categories. We have learned the percentage of credit exposure. Now moving ahead, there is some limit of credit exposure, general limit, so these were the priority list. Now here moving ahead, credit exposure norm to the individual, should not exceed 15% of capital, okay, fund of the bank. For individual it is 15%, for group it is 40%, 15 40, but additional 5 and 10 if person is involved or group of person are involved in infrastructure project, then you can give additional 15 and 10. That means he will have 20 and 50, 20% and 50% of the total capital of the bank. Exposure can be this limit. So I'll repeat once again here. Individual person can avail the credit exposure up to 15% of the total capital of the bank, and group of borrower 40% of, but that can be extended up to 20% and 50%, additional 5 and 10. And you can give one more 5% capital fund subject to appropriate disclosure in the annual report. Okay, if they are very transparent and they are disclosing everything, you can give the 5% more in addition to all this. Okay, the next come NBFC, non-banking financial companies. That means companies who are not carrying out the banking business. So NBFC and NBFC AFC, NBFC and NBFC AFC. AFC stand for Asset Financial Companies. That means NBFC you can give 10%, and NBFC you can give 15%. 10 15 you can remember like this, and you can again increase 5% and 5% both. 5% 5% if they are involved in infrastructure project. Means NBFC will have 15% if they are involved in infrastructure. Similarly, NBFC AFC will have 20% if they are involved in infrastructure. So what their limit is? Their limit is 10 15 and 15 20. Okay, but in case of individual group of borrowers, it was 15 and then increased by 5% 20, and group of borrowers 40 and then increase to 50% by 10%. Okay. Now, moving ahead, because once the credit facility is given, bank also charge some interest. Without interest, bank will not function. Because their main motive is to earn profit. But this rate are being controlled by RBI. Time to RBI keep on giving the guidelines. Based on that guidelines, the banks are fixing their rate of interest. Guidance issued by Reserve Bank of India, because they have control over the bank. So one of the uh, old our was that marginal cost of fund based lending rate, MCLR. One the criteria was charging was MCLR, marginal cost of funds based lending rate. Okay, and this was effective from 1st April 2016. 2016 this MCLR was applicable, and it was continuing till 2019 and it's still continuing. Okay, I will come to that point once again. So MCLR will comprise which factor? It marginal cost of fund. Okay, negative carry on count of CRR, and formula is given here: marginal cost into CRR divided by 1 minus CR. So negative carry on CRR, I'll just write here what is the formula. Negative carry on CRR. No, I'm not full here. So marginal cost into CRR divided by 1 minus CR. Okay, we get negative carry on the CRR. Then operating cost is here, because when fund is generated, fund is given, and a loan is sanctioned, though many formalities are there. So that is the operating cost is there. Then tenure premium. Tenure premium maybe 1 day, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year. Depending upon that, this rate is fixed. So you add up all these 4 points: marginal cost of fund, negative carry on account of CRR. So these you have to remember, because sometimes they ask you which one of the following does not comprise of the MCLR. So you can remember all this. Operating cost is there, tenure premium is there, negative cost of fund is there, negative carry on marginal cost of fund is there, negative carry on account of CRR is there. So all this you have to remember. So I'll repeat once again. MCLR consists of the following: marginal cost of fund, as the name is there, marginal cost of fund. So marginal cost of fund is there, negative carry on account of CRR is there, formula I told you, operating cost is there, and tenure premium is there. So due to the tenure premium, banks are to disclose at least 5 MCLR. Okay, banks are to disclose 5 MCLR. What are these? Number 1, overnight MCLR, 1 month MCLR, 3 months MCLR, 6 month MCLR, and 1 year MCLR. So all these rates are different because their tenure are different. Okay, and banks are bound to disclose all these 5 types of MCLR. Okay, minimum 5 times, but they can disclose more also. There is no restriction, but minimum 5 they have to disclose. Okay. Now, new concept also came in the year 2019, that is called RLLR, repo linked lending rates. This concept came because RBI was thinking repo rates are changing, but banks are not extending this benefit to the customer, so they have given to the repo linked lending rates also. So this was started from 1st October 2019 onwards. 1st October 2019 onwards. In retail sector, keep in mind, not for all types of retail sector, because retail sector is very big sector, and the borrowers are very small people are there. So retail sector, this RR is applicable for the retail sector, and now new rates are coming up. That means nowadays we are using the MCLR and RLLR, separately RL for the retail sectors. Okay, moving ahead, there are some restrictions also. That means banks are restricted not to give any credit facility to the following type of borrowers. Number 1, following types of borrower and conditions of borrowers also. So there are some restrictions. Advance cannot be given to against own shares of the bank. That means bank against the share of its own bank, they cannot take, okay, I'm pledging my shares, you same PNB is having its own share, customer reaching, okay, this take my share and give me the loan. It's not possible for this. Okay. Relative or directors and senior officers, they cannot take loan, credit facility they cannot take. Industries consuming ozone depletion substance, because some of the industries, they are like especially in the refrigerator, no, they are producing CFC and all, so this is harmful for the depletion layer. Ozone layer might have heard, is in the atmosphere. So industries, those who are involved in ozone depletion substance, they cannot avail the first restriction is there. Okay. Some of the sensitive commodities also, the government keep on giving the list. You cannot extend credit facility. And FDR of other banks, and FDR and CDs of other bank for your own bank. For own bank, you can give the loan against your own bank FDR. You can extend the loan facility, but other bank FDR you cannot extend because you don't know the correctness of the FDR of the other bank. And buyback of his share. Okay, and uh, bank cannot buy back its share and extend the credit facility. So these are the restrictions in the extending of credit facility. So we have reached the last point of this chapter. The all bank are to follow some code that is called fair practices code, because when we extend to the credit facility to all types of borrower, the bank has to be impartial in dealing with all customers. There should not be any discrimination based on caste, creed, sex, social background, financial background, whatever is there. So we have to keep in mind that what are the fair practice bank has to follow. Some loan application processing, so we extend the loan processing facility. We should not discriminate. Appraisal, this very very important point, the people are get influenced when the appraisal is there, because when inspection is carried out by the managers or some reviewing officer or appraisal officer, they go to site and some they get influenced, so they have to follow up fair practice for that. And terms and condition must be same for all. It is not that you follow the one terms and condition for the one person and different term condition for the other person, depending upon their social background and financial background. And these fair practice code are applicable to loan application, processing, appraisal, and terms and conditions. So bank has to follow all this, and these are compulsory for all the banks to follow the this fair practices code. Otherwise, this will happen that they will lose their credibility in front of the society, and people not have the faith individually. Okay, so I repeated the micro enterprise once again. I repeat here, for micro 1 to less than 1, for small 1 to 10, more than 1 10, and for medium 10 to 50, and turnover 5 times of this. Okay, so with this I think we have completed everything, so I'll finish our class. Stay tuned with me, and very soon I will upload next video of this module D. Will finish very soon, and for new video you can share with your friend, and you can subscribe my channel also. And with this finish our class. Good day.